And the video is recording right now. So if you are tuned in after the fact, this is Finding Christ in Cinema, episode number 78. We are going to talk about
The Shining.
Stanley Kubrick's very own. Yes, and so we're just getting the very last of our little baby ducks in a row here before we get started on this episode of Finding Christ in Cinema, episode number 78. If you are watching this video and you see this part here, let's go ahead and, let me put in a custom message here on Ustream because it's getting angry about that. Do this and... Okay, so there we go. You want to get the high fidelity audio podcast, which is available on our website at christincinema.com. All right, here we go. Got people in the chat room lining up. We are recording there. We are recording there. Yes. We are. Wait, let me do this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoops. Did I count that right? Okay, -5 clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes.
This is your Great Commission transmission.
Was that it?
Show's over.
Oh, loud. Okay, that's better. Okay.
This is your Great Commission
I was hearing
transmission.
the feedback hum after that. I'm like, oh, that is loud.
Yeah.
So
That's
okay.
just your volume there. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, let's double check your volume,
oh.
your mic placement here real quick.
Hola, brother, says David Gaddy.
All right. Holla.
Holla.
Holla, brothers.
Holla at your boy Brendan.
Halloween, brothers.
There you go.
Oh. Okay, here we go. Hey, come on in. Admission is free. Grab a bowl of popcorn, extra butter, of course, and find a seat smack dab in the middle. It's time for Finding Christ in Cinema, episode number 78. I'm Michael.
And this is your boy Brendan.
Join us, and together we'll dig deeper into the silver screen classics of yesteryear, as well as the box office hits of today. We'll take a closer look at the stories they tell and see if we find the face of Jesus looking back. We're going to explore the deeper meanings of these films, their plots and their twists, the characters and their choices, and how we can relate them to the gospel of salvation and ultimately our Christian walk. You are tuned in to Finding Christ in Cinema on the GCT network.
This is your Great Commission transmission.
Now we are even more in the future than Back to the Future Part 2.
Oh,
and it's spooky, isn't it?
Oh, very spooky. Ooh.
Well, it's been a week since last episode, and we talked about Back to the Future Part 2, and we pointed out that we were one day past October 21st,
a day
2015.
late. A day late and a DVD short.
I can see you are not wearing your pants inside out yet.
No.
So their predictions are all kaput.
Well, other people may be wearing their pants inside out, but I had to work today, and
they frown upon
as,
such.
as far as I know, it's not part of policy yet. So
yes, last episode, Back to the Future Part 2. That was episode number 77 of Finding Christ in Cinema. You can find that at christincinema.com. Brendan, did you have any addendums, afterthoughts, redactions, anything? Oh, and another thing?
I did not. No, sir.
Me neither.
Oh, well, good.
It was a good movie to watch and a good show.
Squeaky clean.
Yes.
Squeaky clean.
Okay, then you ready to go to what are we talking about today?
Oh, we're talking about Stanley Kubrick's 1980.
Yes.
The Shining.
This is our big Halloween episode here.
Oh, and
are you ready for some spookiness?
Ready to get it over with.
Oh, let's go to the movies.
Meet Jack Torrance.
I'm outlining a new writing project.
He's a writer looking for inspiration.
Lots of ideas. No good ones.
Meet Danny. He's a kid looking for a dad.
There's hardly anybody to play with around here.
What's up, Doc?
Jack just can't finish his book.
I don't want to sound melodramatic, but there's no way to make it economically feasible.
Here's to 5 miserable months.
But now, sometimes what we need the most is just around the corner.
I'm your new foster father.
I'd do anything for him.
Climbing up on Salisbury Hill,
I love it.
I could see the city light. My heart going boom, boom, boom. Son, he said, grab your things, I've come to take you home.
Shining.
Yes, for this Halloween, we are going to revisit Stanley Kubrick's 1980 rom-com, The Shining.
I don't remember it being a rom-com. Did I watch the right one?
Why? It wasn't anything like that?
No.
Was it familiar at all to you?
Well, the name Jack and the name Danny were.
Hey, big shout out to David Gaddy of our sister show,
The Theonauts,
for sending the link to that YouTube video for the recut trailer of Shining. We'll have the link to that in our show notes if you want to go and watch that yourself. It just totally changes everything about this film. And this film, well, we're watching it, or we did watch it because David Gaddy, because hashtag Gaddy wills it. So, yes, Gaddy wills it. And there you go. Was this your first foray, your first venture into the world of Stanley Kubrick?
It was, in which I sat down and watched it from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Because, again, this is one of those movies, growing up, it would always be on TV, and I would always catch it, like, at the same parts, the two little girls standing in the hallway.
The scene in room 230, in the bathroom of 237.
Which was heavily edited for
TV.
Yeah. More on that later.
Hey, in fact, let's just right now.
Or right now, okay.
First of all, this movie is like 9,000 years old. If you haven't seen it yet, well, actually, let's do this. If you haven't seen The Shining yet, dear Christian brothers and sisters, don't. Do not. Okay, it is filled with it's. I mean, they're room 237. We have full frontal nudity. We have the F-bomb being dropped every which way but Sunday. We have GD being thrown out there like it's saying, "Hey guys, it's don't watch this film if you have not." However, if you have watched it,
or if you're invited to watch it with some friends,
yes. If you find yourself in the situation where the movie comes up, we're going to give you some things to discuss today.
Yeah.
But yes, and the Emperor will certainly help out. Yes. But anyway, getting back to it, this is a film you must have filters on full blast. Your heavy duty, your industrial filters.
Industrial strength.
Yes. But other than that, I got to say, Brendan, I love this movie. I love Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. I think that it is suspenseful and the kind of horror that, I don't like all the slasher films. I don't like those. We've talked a little bit about horror films and the different genres.
True.
And the different styles and techniques. This is my favorite kind. This is the kind that scares me. And Kubrick's filming style, everything from, you really get a sense of how empty and big this hotel is because he's taking big shots. It was filmed in standard format, actually.
Was it 18 millimeter?
I don't know the size, but it was not letterbox.
David's the film student. He's in the chat room. He
knows all about this.
Yeah.
But what are your initial thoughts? What were your initial thoughts about The Shining?
Well, again, it was my first, as you said, my first foray into Stanley Kubrick, my first full immersion.
Yeah. Oh, you're baptized into Kubrick.
Well, I've heard just from around the interwebs that this movie may have not been the best first choice.
Oh, really?
For Stanley Kubrick.
Did anybody offer what a better first choice would be? Please don't say 2001: Space Odyssey.
Well, actually, that was one of them. And then
how?
I don't know, Michael. I don't know. But then
to get it out of the way,
there was also Paths to Something. And again, David, you could probably, if you're listening, Paths to Glory or Paths of Something.
Never heard of that one.
I don't know. It's a comedy.
Did anybody recommend?
And Dr. Strangelove.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So, and
did
that
anybody say, "Oh, you need to watch Clockwork Orange"?
Well, if they did, I'm not gonna.
That's another one. Avoid that movie at all costs.
And Eyes Wide Shut, from what I hear.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I don't know anything about that.
So I think it's Stanley Kubrick. But
Well, and that has FCC's very own.
Tom Hanks in it.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Yes.
Excuse me. Oh gosh.
Yes.
Oh gosh.
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
in
I
the Stanley
apologize.
Kubrick- Yeah.
Oh, I did not mean to besmirch your name.
Okay. David does say in the chat room that some shots were in 18 millimeter for tight stuff. But anyway, so getting back to your
okay, so Michael, we've been doing this for 2 years, so
Yeah.
so you probably know where I'm going to go when I start.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
The from the technical side, yes, this movie is everything. Stanley Kubrick as a cinematic storyteller does the best job at putting you into the movie.
And you are there.
Yeah, exactly. I was very even from the opening scene of the helicopter shot over the lake, following the car.
Hey, but
and there was this there
it
was
was already
always,
foreboding, huh?
Yes. There was always this sense of movement.
Yes.
Even if the subject in the frame wasn't the one moving, which honestly is a huge storytelling trick. Well, not trick, but it's a technique.
Yeah.
To almost give the hotel its own character.
Yeah.
The hotel is actually watching these
Yes,
people
I was just
and is
going to
alive.
say something is observing, Jack the whole time.
Well, I think something is observing the whole family.
Well, right, yes,
Yeah,
but the
Jack
opening
specifically.
scene is Jack driving by himself, and
Yeah.
you get this sense, and with that eerie music going on, that something is watching, something is following, something is involved right from the beginning with this man's life, and it turns out it might have been something that's been there for a long, long, long time, observing this guy for a long, long, long time.
Yeah, and it would be interesting to see what else is there.
Yeah.
So
okay, so
hold on. Well, he's got David Getty in the chat room. Eyes Wide Shut is actually quite good, but full of naughty bits. Okay, so that's what I
so
heard.
it has Monty
and-
Python going through it.
Yeah, it's about the value of faithfulness and the pain of infidelity. Okay, that now see. Okay. David Gaddy,
Yes.
film student extraordinaire. That type of movie, it would seem like the message outweighs the spectacle, the medium.
Okay.
And The Shining, subjective opinion.
Of course.
I think the spectacle outweighs the story.
Can you give us a quick? Can you encapsulate that? What do you mean? Why? Why would you say that to somebody?
I think too much effort on Stanley Kubrick's part was spent on adapting it into his own film, his own story, into his own frame.
Okay. Full frame.
And just as a storyteller myself, yes, I can sympathize with Stanley Kubrick for, making those artistic choices. But I can't get past the fact that Stephen King himself does not like what Stanley Kubrick did to his original story, to Stephen King's original story.
Right.
And to me, that's a discredit to Stephen King. Not that I'm holding up on any pedestal or anything, but if you're going to say something is an adaptation and then change it, to me, that's bait and switch.
So, exactly. It's just what Peter Jackson did with The Hobbit.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I agree. Now that I've read The Hobbit,
Yes.
I agree.
They're not the same story at
Yeah,
all.
they're not.
I mean, it's just loosely based on. And so, yeah, he did. He took a man that was a contemporary, a man that's alive to this very day, took his story, said, that's a great story. I'm going to make a movie out of it, and then didn't.
Let me take the title.
Yeah, the title and the very basic premise.
Yeah.
How I don't know though. I have a hard. I've never read Stephen King's The Shining. I've read lots of Stephen King, but it was all when I was a younger man, and I should revisit him and see if I still feel as strongly positively towards him as I did as a young man. In hindsight, I'm kind of thinking that I don't know that Stephen King treats characters the way that Stanley Kubrick treated these characters. Now, one of the big things was that Stephen King said, hey, Jack Torrance he was not crazy from the very beginning. He says he was very adamant that Jack Nicholson was not the man for the role because he said, this guy's, a half a step away from crazy when he gets out of bed in the morning, man. You know, the character of Jack Torrance started off normal, right? I mean, look at him. Jack Nicholson is a wild man.
Oh.
And
Which speaking of Jack Nicholson, shout out. Let's go ahead and get him in there.
yes.
Shout out. And also from this film, and really any film that you have Jack Nicholson, you have Acting 101 with Jack Nicholson.
Oh, what is that?
Which is deliver line,
Yes.
raise eyebrows, and nod. And that's how you deliver every line. So
And he wins awards for it.
So
Lots of them.
Yeah. So when you voluntarily watch The Shining,
Yes.
and you don't want to focus on the story, whatever's there,
Just watch Jack.
just watch Jack Nicholson
Oh,
deliver his
man.
line, raise his eyebrows, and nod.
Hey, nobody has eyebrows like that, though.
Well, Marty McFly almost does.
Oh,
Let's not,
man.
Okay, all right. So back to the movie.
Hey, that was a throwback to episode number 57 when Brendan revealed his big pet peeve with Back to the Future Part 1, and that was Marty McFly's eyebrows.
Oh,
Okay,
man.
getting back to the story. And Jack Nicholson, I mean, there was one clunky part in here for me that, was jolting clunky, and that was his obviously you see he's starting to go down the rabbit trail of madness, but then all of a sudden, from one scene to the next, he had made the complete leap, and we didn't see anything in between, and that was jarring to me, and I was arguing with myself, well, now all the filmmakers and all the geniuses are going to say he did that on purpose. Kubrick did that on purpose. I can't see what the purpose of that was. It was a quantum leap, like from one scene to the next. And so that was the one thing that I had a real problem with in this was there was no gradual fall or slipping down the slippery slope. I mean,
Well, there just weren't enough points.
yes,
to
not
actually-
enough steps.
to highlight that.
Something accidentally got edited out, and nobody realized it until it was already in the theaters.
Oh.
Oops.
Oh, whoops.
So anyway, that was just my one thing. But Jack Nicholson, I think I love Jack Nicholson. I love him go all the way back to is it 1963? One of his very first films or his first leading major role was with Boris Karloff in a film called The Terror.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good one.
See, we could have done that.
We should have.
bet.
Oh, we could. But see, hey, at least now we get to say FCC's very own Jack Nicholson.
True.
What did you think of his portrayal? Leaving out Stephen King saying, "Hey, this isn't Jack Torrance," but just judging it as a standalone performance.
Oh, performance-wise, he's top notch.
A lot of ad-libbing was done in this
Oh, really?
film, actually.
Okay.
Yes, and Kubrick, that's what he liked about Jack Nicholson, especially, was, hey, here's basically what the scene is, do it better. Okay. And so, here's Johnny. That was a total ad-lib. A bunch of things.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that. That's cool.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, props to Jack Nicholson.
Yes.
Performance wise, especially like I was watching some behind the scenes of him getting ready to, chop the door
Yes,
down.
he's psyching
And
himself. He's a
jumping,
method actor.
He's jumping around.
Yeah.
He's getting the blood flowing.
Psyching himself out. and
Oh,
stuff.
I'm a killer. I'm
Oh,
gonna
and
kill.
that was
Oh,
another thing was when he's tearing down that door, he actually has a background as an auxiliary fireman or something, and so he knows how to chop down a door.
Oh, well, look at him.
And so when you watch, that was the filming, the cinematography on that scene was awesome. Oh, man.
when now as the camera moves with
Yes.
it, I did like that.
Very impressive. How about
Yeah.
when Wendy locks him in the
food storage?
Yes,
Yeah.
and that shot looking up at his face.
that was the moment I knew when he had turned.
Yeah.
That was when
Yeah.
for me it wasn't the bat blow to the head, that scene. It wasn't that. To me it was
You know what it
basically
reminds me
he
of?
was on top of his head.
It reminds me, turned on his head.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of the Gollum Smeagol scene, where Gollum and Smeagol are arguing, right? Go away, and leave, that madness.
Yeah.
And so just the way that angle was shot and everything, just yes, I
Yeah.
like how you said that turned on his head Wow. Okay, but Shelley Duvall as Wendy Torrance. Go.
Performance,
Yes.
great. Yes, I'm always a fan of Shelley Duvall.
I love Shelley Duvall.
Yes. Stanley Kubrick's depiction of Wendy the character.
Again, a complete and utter departure, maybe even more so than Jack Torrance from the book.
From the book. Well, and I wasn't even gonna mention that, but yeah, that he painted Wendy as a weak character.
Yeah.
All she was there for, to me, it seemed like, was just a scream.
Huh. See, I don't see that.
See, and like there was stuff in the beginning where she was, she was talking to the nurse that came by to help out Danny. She was just casually talking, and now when she's telling the story about Jack actually hurting Danny, that's when I felt for her. I'm like, oh, I know where she's at. I'm on her level.
Yeah.
Good.
The way she delivered it was flawless.
Yeah. And then, of course, again, talking about the bat swinging scene.
Yes.
Again, that's some intense stuff.
Yes.
And I
and Stanley Kubrick made her film them film that scene dozens and dozens and dozens of times.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
one thing about Stanley Kubrick is he's brutal on his actors. He'll make them film the same scene take after take after take after take after take after take after. I mean,
well, again, more behind the scenes stuff. Shelley talked about, there would be all these like 50 or 60 videotaped rehearsals before he even touched the film. So I think, as a director myself, I can kind of see where he's going at. He wants to get it done in one shot, but not at the expense of your actors. And I hate to say it, and I've heard this may have been just an anomaly with Stanley Kubrick, but he did not treat Shelley Duvall well.
right.
He yelled in her face. He cussed at her.
Ignored her.
Ignored her. Just everything. But he was fine with everyone else. For some reason, he could communicate to everyone else, but he did not, whether it was choice or he just could not. He chose a bad form of communication with Shelley Duvall.
My understanding was that
Yes.
was completely purposeful.
In what regard?
Intentional. In order to get her to be that character that you're saying that you didn't like, how passive and weak she was. That's what he wanted Wendy Torrance to be, which is a complete opposite of Stephen King's Wendy Torrance, who is a blonde bombshell cheerleader, never failed at anything, go-getter, succeeding kind of a person. This Wendy Torrance is not. This Wendy Torrance, all she has for her is she loves her boy. She loves her boy, and she has a husband that she is afraid of.
True. Yeah.
She's afraid of him. He's a drunk, and he gets violent. And she's just trapped. It's a trapped relationship kind of a thing. And so in this film, as she starts off as that kind of a character, and then it just goes south from there. But then you can see her start saying, even in her own pathetic little way, I'm getting out of here. I'm going to take my son, and we're getting out of here. And she does.
Yeah.
She does. She's a hero of the film.
Going back to the bathroom scene.
Yes.
Pushing Danny out the window and then run, Danny, run.
Yes.
That gets me. That does get me every time. Go
ahead.
Just a quick thought on, yes, okay. I understand why Stanley Kubrick chose to be that way toward Shelley in order to get her to get the character, that he was looking for. As a director, I wouldn't do that.
Oh no, that's a terrible.
Because an actress or an actor is a person. A character is the fictional being that, in my opinion, the actor is in charge of getting up to. It's not my responsibility as the director. I give them simple directions in a kind of way. And then they internalize those directions and then express them in the film or in the play. I'm not going to berate somebody in order to get... I'm not going to berate a person in order to get their character where I want it to be.
What it really is, what it makes me think of Stanley Kubrick as that caricature of a Hollywood director.
God,
You know? Yes,
Yeah.
he's a cartoon of himself.
Yeah.
But here's one thing, and this is in trivia on IMDb, and you never know. I mean, this is who submitted this, right? So,
Right.
but anyway, both Nicholson and Duvall have said that the film was one of the hardest of their careers. In fact, Nicholson considers Duvall's performance the most difficult role he's ever seen an actor take on. Duvall also considers her performance the hardest of her life. You know, and Jack Nicholson, I think that was it after this. I won't work with that guy anymore. I'm not working with him. You know, because Jack Nicholson is he's a professional. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna do my job, and I'm going home.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. But nope, take again. Roll it back. Let's take it again. You know, I mean, and over and over and over again. He didn't have much regard for him as a professional.
Yeah.
But then Duvall, of course, you know, why both of those, Nicholson and Duvall, say that her role is the hardest that they've ever, you know, experienced, and blah, 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 is because of how she was treated.
Yeah.
But I do think let's put morals aside for just a second.
Okay.
For sake of argument.
Okay.
I have to go back to this warped character, Stanley Kubrick. Okay. Wanted something very specific out of Wendy Torrance, and he got it. And so it's almost like method acting, but it was method directing.
Yeah.
But so, you know, that's reprehensible, and I wouldn't want my daughter treated that way. You know, I think Duvall is from Texas. I'm surprised her dad didn't drive him to the set and say, "What are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing to my daughter?"
Yeah.
You know, but she's a trooper, and she's a professional, and she took it, and she could have said at any time, "I ain't doing this."
Yeah.
Enough.
So.
All right.
Well,
What
enough
else?
of that.
What
well,
else?
let's go ahead and just talk about Danny Lloyd.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Young Danny Lloyd, who I think they lied to his parents and said that this was like a drama.
Oh, don't.
There's all kinds of moral shortcomings.
Ethical
faux pas.
Stanley Kubrick. God.
And I'm laughing here, and I'm laughing just out of like sheer. I mean, I'm dumbfounded. How does this? You know, this guy's considered to be a genius. I don't know.
See, okay. Maybe we can just have this out right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was on the phone with Sir Richard on the way in today.
Sir Richard the Lionheart makes yet another appearance on Finding Christ.
Oh, yes, he does.
In absentia, I think is the word.
Is that Latin?
Yeah.
It sounds like it.
Yes. In
Okay.
absence.
He and I expressed to him, dude, I just don't like this movie simply because of Stanley Kubrick. The way he ethically. The way he treated his actors.
You're a bad man, Mr. Kubrick. To the
A
cornfield.
bad man.
Yeah.
Oh, we could have done Twilight Zone. Maybe.
Yes.
Oh.
With a little
Anyway,
Billy
okay.
Mummy.
Yes. And then, you know, Richard, he brought up a good point, as he is wanting to do. He says, now, Brendan, is that judging a tree by its fruit or judging a fruit by its tree? Because, you know, this is a production.
Yeah.
This is a production.
Nobody said it would be easy.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing, though. You know, is all the ethical shortcomings, or are all the ethical shortcomings worth it? And in my opinion, no. There's no need to, you know, if that is true, no need to lie to the kids' parents about what the movie is.
Are you that bad of a director that you have to mistreat people and lie?
Yes.
To accomplish what you want?
Yeah.
Hey!
That's where I'm coming from.
I can see that.
So, and I take offense to that. And
go back to photography, Mr. Kubrick.
Well, I'm not going to say that, but in just this case, I can't get past that, and to me, that affects the fruit, and therefore the fruit is bad.
Yeah.
So that's just me.
There's a little parable in there. Okay. Some shout out. Okay. Here's a shout out I got to make. My favorite character, my favorite actor in the film.
Oh, yes, sir.
Mr. Scatman Crothers.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes, as Dick Hallorann. I love Scatman Crothers. I have my whole entire lifetime. I think that, I actually focus on his character in my points coming up. He just embodies it all, and he's real. Mm-hmm. And he takes that character, and you believe
there's no uncanny valley with him.
No, you believe that he is the head chef, Dick Hallorann,
Yes, sir.
And the conversation, the interaction that he had with little Danny.
Yeah.
And I have a clip of that. That is he was a consummate professional. So he's sitting with this little kid, and he's feeding off little Danny and just delivering a flawless. Well, it's almost like a monologue because Danny wasn't really.
Yeah, it was just yeah.
It started out as monologue,
Yeah.
then turned into dialogue.
Oh, David Gaddy in the chat room.
Oh, and he was, yes, and David wants to point out that Scatman Crothers was, of course, Hong Kong Phooey.
Oh, yes, sir.
Hong Kong Phooey, #1 super guy. That's some good stuff from way before Brendan was born.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the last shout out that I need to do is Philip Stone as Delbert Grady.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yeah.
What about the scene? Talk to me here about the scene of them in the men's restroom.
bathroom. Oh,
and the
my
whole,
gosh.
there's a whole lot of pauses and just staring and just, what is that like as an actor?
That's weird because I would say, if anything, that is one of the scenes that is the most artistic.
Yes.
Because, you've just got red and white. You've got the color scheme going on. Red's been a prominent color.
rum.
Yeah, even that. Oh gosh. The actors, they are, they're standing, one's facing one way, the other's facing the other, and the one whose back is to the camera is delivering the line. What is going on? But now but that's effective though, because it adds to the creepiness into the mood of what's being discussed. And he's discussing, you were the caretaker, weren't you?
Yeah.
You chopped your little kids up, didn't you?
I don't like to.
I don't mean to differ with you,
Yes.
sir. But you are the caretaker.
And how much was being said when no lines were being delivered?
I can't.
It's beautiful. That
was okay. If the character of
that's
Grady,
high art,
yeah,
brother.
Yeah. If the character of Grady was supposed to represent the house or the hotel was looking into Jack Nicholson.
Oh yes. Yes.
You've got that quote. You stare into the abyss, and the abyss stares into you.
Yes.
The hotel then, if it hadn't been already, then at that moment was looking into and was going into Jack Torrance.
Yeah.
And
okay,
that was just that. Okay. Final thoughts.
So you got to give kudos to Kubrick for that.
I am. I just did.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. Final thoughts. This movie, yes, it is unnerving. It is very suspenseful. It is a very experiential film.
Yes. I wish more movies were made like this.
Oh, don't say that.
I do. It's not with abusing people and lying and stuff.
Okay, good. Okay.
But with the horror movies. I'm looking at all these trailers on my Apple Movies trailers.
Mm-hmm.
They are all just cookie cutter. It is boring.
Oh, yeah.
It's dull. It's unoriginal. This movie is scary to me, especially when you're talking about madness and when you turn it. The true. What evil really looks like. I'm going to jump into that a little bit in my points, but let's go. Oh,
Okay.
do you want to say a shout out? What about music? Anything music?
Oh, you say it. I didn't think about music, but yes, the music definitely added to the creepiness, to that, to the alienation.
I can't remember
effect.
what that kind of music is called, but it is a throwback to the German impressionistic deal. It's a very German-based art form. That kind of music. We'll have to look into that afterwards.
Oh, yeah,
Was not
cool.
prepared for that this
Yes.
time. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Brendan, what can we say about this film? This is not, let's just put it out there right now. This isn't a normal movie that we have done. This is nothing like anything that we have covered on Finding Christ in cinema in nearly 2 years. This is a challenge. And how do we look at this and say, here's something good, or here's a Christian theme, or here's a biblical theme, here's something to walk away with that you can discuss with your friends and loved ones and point them, be a signpost. How can this be an angled mirror?
Yeah.
Can it?
Yeah. Well, it can.
Okay.
You gotta dig.
All right.
You gotta dig.
Dig deep.
So the Overlook Hotel, it's a big scary place. There are residual hauntings, I believe the technical term is. It's so many bad things have happened there that they have left their imprint on the physical space And
the hotel shines.
it shine. Well, places are like people.
Yep.
Some shine and some don't.
Yep.
And Jack Torrance, he thinks he can take it all by himself. Let's listen to that first clip.
Physically, it's not a very demanding job. The only thing that can get a bit trying up here during the winter is the tremendous sense of isolation.
Well, that just happens to be exactly what I'm looking for. I'm outlining a new writing project, and 5 months of peace is just what I want.
That's very good, Jack. Because for some people, solitude and isolation can of itself become a problem.
Not for me.
See, you've got Stewart. I think that's what his name plaque said. you've got the hotel guy, explaining to Jack, hey, look, some people, a lot of people actually, don't like this job because you're going to be up here for 5 months by yourself. And I mean, yeah, you'll have your kids and your kid and your wife with you. But even then, Jack says, "Oh, I'll be working on my novel. They won't be a bother to me. The house won't be a bother to me. I need these 5 months of isolation." Jack doesn't realize how big and how scary this world is. That is in the Overlook Hotel.
No, he does not.
And Wendy and Danny, however, and even Mr. Hallorann, they understand at least a little bit the need for someone else, someone that for an other. They understand that need, and in a way, they're willing to be there for each other.
This is the kitchen, huh?
Yeah, this is it. How do you like it, Danny? Is it big enough for you?
Yeah. It's the biggest place I've ever seen.
Yeah, this whole place is such an enormous maze. I feel like I'll have to leave a trail of breadcrumbs every time I come in.
Don't let it get you down, Mrs. Torrance. It's big, but it still ain't nothing but a kitchen. And a lot of this stuff you'll never have to touch.
I wouldn't know what to do with it if I did.
See, she wants to say that she'll get lost and she won't know what to do. But Scatman's just like, look, it's big. And I think the subtext there is that, yeah, it's big and it's even scary. But it's just a house. It's just a kitchen. It's just a physical thing. And, Danny's there with her in that scene and throughout the movie. Danny clings to his mom, obviously because, Jack's gone crazy.
Yeah.
But, Danny's there. And then when Danny and Wendy are in trouble, Danny is then able to call on Scatman, Mr. Hallorann.
Yes.
So quick key text, in and out. Ecclesiastes 4:12. From the Nilt.
Yes.
A person standing alone can be attacked and defeated, but two can stand back to back and conquer. 3 are even better, for a triple braided cord is not easily broken. You've got Wendy, Danny, Mr. Hallorann, your triple braided cord. And now, okay, spoiler alert. Yeah, Mr. Hallorann gets it. He didn't deserve it, but he got it. But he was able to provide. He was even able to provide a means of escape by bringing that other snowcat.
You're taking my point.
Oh, dang it! Sorry, I jumped ahead. So yes, okay, Mulligan.
Well, I'm not even going to say that now. So you go ahead and make that point.
Well,
I'll just take that out of mind.
Well, I just did. You've got the 2 of them, Danny and Wendy, trapped inside the hotel with their crazy, Axeman dad or husband. And he has already destroyed the one snowcat that was on the property that could have made it over the snow.
Here comes the third cord.
Here comes that third cord. Because
this is a great point.
Because he was already bonded so much to Danny because of The Shining. Because of that, whatever The Shining is.
Yeah.
And that is something I do like about this film, and I think about Stephen King has down in his stories. He doesn't fully explain what's going on, but he explains it relationally.
Yeah.
That way Danny understands it. That way Mr. Hallorann understands it. And we, as the audience looking into that relationship, we can understand it as far as we need to. not the whole thing, just as far as we need to. So there's your triple braided cord.
What's the ultimate triple braided cord? Father, Son,
there you go.
the Holy Spirit.
Holy Spirit, yes,
but
sir.
there are many pictures of the triple braided cord, and right now I'm thinking of and tied in with the shining, people who can shine. I'm thinking of the prophets. The prophets that are working contemporary of each other, talking to different, sometimes they're talking to one's talking to the northern kingdom of Israel, sometimes one's talking at the same time to the southern, kingdom of Judah or what have you. But but they are also individually, they are also bound in with God, and ultimately they're unbreakable. Now prophets were killed a lot, all the time. Because people don't like to be told what they're doing is no good. But so that kind of feeds in a little bit here to what I'm calling a very scary tale of evil deeds and the shining prophets. Okay, this is like nothing I've ever done before, friends. I'm Finding Christ in Cinema. I always like to look for a positive thing, but this being Halloween, let's look at some scary things that are found in the Bible, shall we, and see how it lines up with the Overlook Hotel and the Shining, as told by Stanley Kubrick, the cartoon character. So Danny reminds me of the prophets of God, especially Ezekiel. In that chapter 3, God gave him a scroll to eat. God's word of judgment. The scroll, it tasted sweet. Yet Ezekiel was carried away by the Spirit bitterly and full of fury. And we'll get to this specifically, these passages, but God put his voice in Ezekiel's mouth like Tony was in Danny's mouth. Consider Danny's conversation with his pediatrician, who deserves another shout out. I thought that doctor lady did a fantastic job.
Oh, yes.
Listen to this little conversation.
Is Tony one of your animals?
No, he's a little bit that lives in my mouth.
Tony's his imaginary friend.
Oh. If you were to open your mouth now, could I see Tony?
No,
Why not?
because he hides
Where does he go?
in my stomach.
Okay.
Oh,
He
there
lives
you
in my
go.
mouth, talks, but when he goes into my stomach. Let's read a little bit about some of the commission of Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 2, starting in verse 8, if I can find it here. Man, this type is small. I'm actually reading out of a real paper Bible here. But you, says God, you, son of man, hear what I say to you. Be not rebellious like that rebellious house. Now, keep in mind, Brendan, that Ezekiel is preaching to those that are in bondage, that are in captivity. They are in wherever the Babylonians took them to. Okay, they're in the land of the Chaldeans.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, this isn't taking place in the Holy Land. This isn't taking place in Jerusalem, or even in the northern tribes. Well, they've already been scattered at this point. They're scattered amongst the nations. The northern tribes, who knows where they are? Mm-hmm. Who knows? But anyway, so be not rebellious like that rebellious house. Open your mouth and eat what I give you. And when I looked, behold, a hand was stretched out to me, and behold, a scroll of a book was in it. And he spread it before me, and it had writing on the front and on the back, and there were written in it words of lamentation, of mourning and woe. And he said to me, Son of man, eat whatever you find here. Eat this scroll and go speak to the house of Israel. So I opened my mouth, and he gave me this scroll to eat. And he said to me, Son of man, feed your belly with this scroll that I give you, and fill your stomach with it. Then I ate it, and it was in my mouth as sweet as honey. And he said to me, Son of man, go to the house of Israel and speak with my words to them. And continues on like that. Then we could jump down to chapter 3, verses 10 through 14. Moreover, he said to me, Son of man, all my words that I shall speak to you, receive in your heart and hear with your ears, and go to the exiles, to your people, and speak to them and say to them, Thus says the Lord God, whether they hear or refuse to hear. Then the Spirit lifted me up, and I heard behind me the voice of a great earthquake. Blessed be the glory of the Lord from its place. It was the sound of the wings of the living creatures as they touched one another, and the sound of the wheels beside them, and the sound of a great earthquake. The Spirit lifted me up and took me away, and I went in bitterness, in the heat of my spirit, the hand of the Lord being strong upon me. You will look at this scroll, look at this book written on both sides, Ezekiel. Take this and eat it, and let it go into your stomach. Let it go into your heart, and say these words. And that's what Danny does. That's what, Tony is the voice in his mouth.
Yeah.
It's a little boy in his mouth. It just reminds me of that. So, blah, 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 blah. Again, we want to make sure that we know that the northern, we're not talking about the northern tribes, the 10 tribes in the northern kingdom of Israel. They've been scattered by the Assyrians almost a couple of hundred years prior, right? But now Judah, their card has come up, and it's time for them to pay the punishment because they are, even in captivity, according to verse 8, well, it's actually all throughout, especially the opening of Ezekiel, they are still a, quote, rebellious house, unquote. Judah was paying for many deplorable sins committed in the holy city and even in the very temple of God. Oh, man, terrible, terrible things. And so God spoke to, let's go to another prophet. God spoke to Jeremiah, or through Jeremiah, some 30 to 40 years before Ezekiel. And Jeremiah said in verse 32, or chapter 32, verse 31, out of the Nilt, this is Jeremiah, from the time this city was built until now, it has done nothing but anger me. So I am determined to get rid of it. Wow. Terrible and rebellious things happened at the Overlook Hotel. Things that linger.
You know, some places are like people. Some shine and some don't. I guess you could say the Overlook Hotel here has something about it that's like shining.
Is there something bad here?
Well, you know, Doc, when something happens, it can leave a trace of itself behind. Say, like, if someone burns toast. Well, maybe things that happen leave other kind of traces behind. Not things that anyone can notice, but things that people who shine can see. Just like they can see things that haven't happened yet. Well, sometimes they can see things that happened a long time ago. I think a lot of things happened right here in this particular hotel over the years. And not all of them was good.
What about room 237?
Room 237?
You're scared of room 237, ain't you?
No, I ain't.
Mr. Hallorann, what is in room 237?
Nothing. There ain't nothing in room 237. But you ain't got no business going in there anyway. So stay out. You understand? Stay out.
Very scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's break this down just a little bit here. That was a long clip, but it contained everything that I needed it to contain. Question: is Jerusalem like the Overlook Hotel? Danny asks, is there something bad here? So I ask, has the hotel been polluted by evil, by bloodshed? Of course it has. Let's take a look at Psalm 116, verses 38 through 41 out of the New English translation, I believe. They shed innocent blood, the blood of their sons and daughters, whom they sacrificed to the idols of Canaan. The land was polluted by bloodshed. They were defiled by their deeds and unfaithful in their actions. So the Lord was angry with his people and despised the people who belonged to him. He handed them over to the nations, and those who hated them ruled over them. That polluted by evil and bloodshed. That's the holy city. Okay? That's what they did to God's land. What about room 237? I wonder if there's a little bit of maybe a glimpse of that in Jeremiah chapter 32, verses 33 through 35 out of the Nilt. My people have turned their backs on me and have refused to return. Even though I diligently taught them, they would not receive instruction or obey. They have set up their abominable idols right in my own temple, defiling it. They have built pagan shrines to Baal in the valley of Ben Hinnom. And there, in the valley of Ben Hinnom, they sacrificed their sons and daughters to Moloch. I have never commanded such a horrible deed. It never even crossed my mind to command such a thing. What an incredible evil, causing Judah to sin so greatly. The valley of Ben Hinnom. Jesus spoke often of the valley of Ben Hinnom. We know it as Gehenna,
Yes, sir.
which has been translated as hell.
Yeah.
Terrible, terrible things took place in the valley of Ben Hinnom. Things that never even crossed God's mind. I never even dreamt up such a thing. They were sacrificing their sons and their daughters. Kind of like Mr. Grady. And chopping up his wife and his two little girls. And what he's asking Jack to do, the very same thing. That's room 237, baby. Gehenna. Room 237. Don't go in there. When Jesus said Gehenna, that strikes the same feeling in those people he was speaking to as, or actually the same feeling in Mr. What's his name? Hallorann.
Hallorann, there you go.
You got no business even talking about that. Terrible things go there, so much so that now we burn our dead bodies and our trash and animals and things in there, and the fires never go out. Man, yeah, terrible, terrible things. This place is polluted. Evil people are doing evil things in this hotel, in this city. An incredible evil is causing people to butcher their families in the Overlook Hotel. God has sent his prophets, his shining ones, to turn them from their evil ways. In fact, he said in Jeremiah chapter 25, verse 4 out of the Nilt, again and again, the Lord has sent you his servants, the prophets, but you have not listened or even paid attention.
Did you know, Mr. Torrance, that your son is attempting to bring an outside party into this situation? Did you know that?
No.
He is, Mr. Torrance.
Who?
Well, who is Dick Hallorann? That's who he's trying to bring an outside party into this situation.
Evening, fire service.
Hello, this is Dick Hallorann again. I called a while ago about the folks at the Overlook Hotel.
Oh, yeah. We tried to contact them several times by radio, but they didn't answer. Now, maybe they got their radio turned off or they're in a place where they can't hear it. If you'd like me to, I'll be glad to try them again later on.
Oh, that's very nice of you. I'll call you back later. Bye.
we tried to contact them several times. Many times. We sent the prophets and they keep killing them. Jeremiah 25, verse 4 again and again. The Lord has sent you his servants, the prophets, but you have not listened or even paid attention. In fact, you just get more wicked, and so much so that there's Delbert Grady. Do you understand that your son is trying to bring an outside party? Oh, I read that, the word other with a capital O. He's trying to bring the big guns in. What are you going to do about that? What did they do to the prophets, Brendan? Every time a prophet would stand up and say, "Thus saith the Lord, repent, turn from your sins, or I am going to punish you," they kill him. Kill him. Jack, your son is trying to bring in the big guns. You need to kill him. Real quick. Oh, look who is in the chat room right now. It is Potatoes. Yeah!
Oh.
Back from his surgery. How's that for ruining the mood here?
What?
No. I was on a roll, but I had to stop and say hello. Oh, right. He's trying to bring in Dick Hallorann. Tried to contact them several times. We can try again later. No, that's very nice of you. But what does he say? I'll do it myself. Let's go to another long reading, Brendan. Luke, chapter 20, verses 9 through 14. And I'm going to read it out of the New King James Version, not because I like this version, but because it's here and it's open. Then he began to tell the people this parable. These words are in red, so what would that mean? He. Who's the he? Oh, that would be Jesus.
It's Jesus.
Then Dick Hallorann began to tell the people this parable. A certain man planted a vineyard, leased it to vine dressers, and went into a far country for a long time. Now at vintage time he sent a servant to the vine dressers that they might give him some of the fruit of the vineyard. But the vine dressers beat him and sent him away empty-handed. Again he sent another servant, and they beat him also, treated him shamefully, and sent him away empty-handed. Again he sent a third, and they wounded him also and cast him out. Then the owner of the vineyard said, "What shall I do? Well, I'll send my beloved son. They will respect him when they see him." But when the vine dressers saw him, they reasoned among themselves, saying, "This is the heir. Come, let us kill him, that the inheritance may be ours." And so Jack put an axe into the chest of this beloved son. Jack, we already know in the film at this time, like when he had pulled Danny into his bedroom, as he was supposed to be sleeping, but sitting on the side of the... Dad, do you like this hotel? I love this hotel.
Oh,
I would stay here forever. Let us kill him, and the inheritance will be ours. The estate will be ours. The hotel will be ours. Get rid of these shining ones, Mr. Torrance, is what Delbert Grady says. Okay, listen. It's not real positive, but it is what it is. I got a key text for you. Zechariah, another prophet.
Hey.
Chapter 1, verse 4, out of the Amplified Bible. I thought you'd be proud of me for choosing this.
I am.
So listen up. Here's your key text. Zechariah chapter 1, verse 4. That should be easy to remember. "Do not be like your fathers, to whom the former prophets proclaimed, 'Thus says the Lord of hosts, repent,' that is, change your way of thinking, and return now from your evil way of life and from your evil deeds. But they did not listen or pay attention to me, declares the Lord." But the good news is, and this is where Dick Hallorann is not a Christ figure, because 3 days later he would have gotten up and then he would have exacted judgment.
True.
But he did leave the way out for Wendy and his little shining one, his little prophet, Danny, that snowcat. Here's your escape. He made a way of escape from death. That's what Dick Hallorann did by going back. Hey, we've been trying to call them. We can't get through. Do you want us to try again later? No, I appreciate what you're doing. I'll do it myself. Goes up, sacrifices himself, leaving a way out for Wendy and Danny. That's the positive that you can get out of The Shining. Do you want to add anything to that? Piggybacks, editorials, off the wall remarks.
No, that was good.
Whoa!
That was a nice point.
So there you go, friends. The Shining. We did it. I am happy. Happy as a pig in a dumpster that this week is over. That was difficult, and I have to admit it wasn't even fun.
Oh,
Brendan, we have no feedback. We did get some feedback from patron Saint Philip, but that's in regards to our special episode coming up.
We'll save that for then.
All right, so that will be episode number 81 is our next special episode. So in the meantime, what do we have? Do we have any
well-mannered frivolity?
Oh, do we ever, Michael?
Okay, what's that?
Do we ever? Well, first of all, and foremost of all, my birthday is in 2 days.
Yay!
Oh, thank you, children. Thank you, children. Thank you. Right now, tentative plans, it looks like a rousing game of Monopoly at day, and it'll take about 12 hours. and then Bridge of Spies at night.
So, we're gonna get a Monday movie review?
Oh, I didn't promise that, Michael.
Oh, yeah, we will.
I know I will. I don't know if it'll be the following Monday or if it'll be the week after.
But it will be coming.
It'll probably be coming. Now, Michael.
Yes.
Those celebrations are for me, but I'm a generous guy.
Yes.
And I like to share celebrations.
Okay.
With certain people.
Uh-oh.
And I just happened to get a little present in the mail.
What was that?
Oh, well, you're about to find out.
Okay.
This is from, I don't know if you can see the name, but...
Does that say Ron Potatoes?
Yes. Patron Saint Ron.
Yes.
Took it upon himself to, not only, send, well wishes. He sent a letter with it, good luck in everything you're doing, especially with directing the Christmas Carol.
Such a beautiful Christian man.
Oh, isn't he though?
Yes.
Well, he also, being a patron saint, he also wants to help us produce the show.
Okay.
And now, Michael,
yes,
you'll remember a few episodes ago, we could not do The Lion King.
Yes.
Because
we were happy about that.
Well,
right?
No, you were happy. You were happy
about
that
it. Bullet.
You were happy about it. And well, Ron has taken it upon himself to provide for you a VHS copy of The Lion King.
Oh.
Now, you hold on to that because there's more.
Okay. We'll hold this on the video for those watching. Okay.
Yes, sir. Now, Michael.
Yes.
Ron anticipated your response.
Okay.
Being, how am I going to strip the audio from a VHS tape to the computer?
Okay.
Not to worry, because he has also provided a flash drive with a digital copy of The Lion King.
Oh, no. What? I said nice things about him. Oh, no.
So, Michael, happy birthday to me. Here's your present.
Oh, my goodness. This all looks very dastardly and underhanded. What in the world?
I'm telling you, this is just patron Saint Ron being a good producer.
Oh, man.
He has provided. Ron hath provided.
Oh, look, it's scratched.
Nope, you can't. Nope. I tested it last night, and The Lion King works just fine.
Oh, man.
But you'll also be pleased to know that there are other, and maybe in your subjective viewpoint opinion, better movies on the flash drive, including the director's cut of Kingdom of Heaven.
Oh, wow.
And,
okay.
and Ron informed me that it is now his opinion that the director's cut is the superior version. So we need to watch that.
Okay, he's been doing a lot of things while recuperating.
True. Very true. He's a nice guy.
Yes.
There's a couple more things on there. I think I saw West Side Story was on there. Ron, I love that movie.
Yeah, with Natalie Wood and, the real one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. You've got that. And then K-Pax.
Oh, okay.
And see, I had never seen K-Pax, and last night as I was getting my secret ducks in a row, I watched the first half of K-Pax. Ron, I can definitely see why you want that movie on the list because I'm telling you, it's Michael. You'll like K-Pax, but not more than what you'll like watching The Lion King.
Oh man, no, that's just.
And now that Ron's in the chat room, I hope I did him justice. Oh, and Ron says to hold on to the VHS because it'll be an excuse for you two to meet up.
Hey, yeah! Now that's the best news of this whole thing.
So I was going to say, if there's anything you'll like about having a VHS copy of The Lion King, is that it means a one-way ticket to Patron Saint Ron.
It better be good. That's Jeremy Irons is in this, right?
Yes, he
is.
is.
Yeah, I love this movie.
Yeah, right.
Patron Saint Jeremy Irons. All right. Wow. Okay. You guys are sneaky devils. This is a Christian show.
I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad I didn't flub it up. I'm just
all right.
It's been ruminating for about 2 weeks now. Just so you know.
My goodness.
Also, okay. Again, well-mannered frivolity.
Yes.
The Tennessee Williams Literary Festival is coming up.
Oh.
And by coming up, I mean they are now accepting submissions for creative works.
Wonderful.
And this year I've submitted a one-act play. And I'm in the process of finalizing some poetry to submit as well.
Awesome.
Awesome. So that, along with grad school coming up, I don't know if I talked about it any further, but yes, I've made the decision. I'm going to go with it, even if it means taking out a few more loans. Going to go ahead and probably do that.
Okay.
Get that education finished with, done with.
Yep.
So
You're still a young man. Get it done.
Well, I just want to move on to an adult job. That's basically what it is. So, thank you, Ron. Ron in the chat room says, "Well executed, Mr. B." And you're welcome, Ron. Thank you.
Did I have anything on the well-mannered frivolity?
The Google Play podcast.
Oh yes, Google Music. All you folks out there with Android phones, you have the Google Play Music app on your device, and where you can buy music and rent music and download music and upload all your music to your Google Play account. I have something like 30,000 tracks or something on my Google account. I don't have an Android phone, but if I did, very soon I would be aware that in the Google Play Music app, they are going to open it up to podcasts. Well, they actually already have, and we have submitted Finding Christ in Cinema and it's been approved, accepted. It's in there. The Theonauts podcast has been submitted. I'm sure by now it has been approved. And our old Youth Challenge Today podcast has been submitted. I haven't heard word on that one yet, but right now I can tell you that when they're saying it may be a month away before it's all ready to roll out, and it will go to Android devices first, and then after that it'll be available on iOS devices. Of course, it'll be available on your computer machine, from the web interface and all that stuff. But that is huge because there's a huge market out there for podcasts. Because most people still have really no idea what a podcast is or how you access one or what you would do with it once you had it. They just don't know. In fact, if you say the word podcast to them, they'll look at you cross-eyed and think you just threw some Greek terminology on them and you're getting all fancy and technical. Soon, and what Google's going to do is that they will actually recommend stuff to people based on their listening habits. The audiobooks that they listen to in Google Play and other things, they'll say, oh, hey, you know what? You like movies and you're a Christian, obviously. Maybe you would like Finding Christ in Cinema. Click play right here and try it out,
Oh,
and
that'd be cool.
And so it's going to open up, to millions and millions and millions of people. Very excited about that. And so that was my well-mannered frivolity, and I'm very frivolity. I don't want to say frivolous.
Frivolous.
No, I'm festive. I'm festive over that. Yeah, frivolio's and cheese or something.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Oh, we got time for a little lightning round.
Lightning, I do. The lightning round! We ran out of time last episode. I can't remember why, because we were goofing off doing something.
Well, because it was Back to the Future Part 2.
Yeah, that's why. And we didn't get to our lightning round. And so if you watched the video after the fact last week, you saw me wearing my GCT Network t-shirt. And I wore that very specifically for my lightning round, and it got all goofed up. So this week, pretend that I'm not wearing this Hawaiian print shirt, but I'm wearing my GCT Network shirt, and then you can look at it and say, man, I'd really like to have one of those. I would love to have a GCT Network t-shirt so that I could wear it around when I'm out and about with the family, and so that people can say, what's GCT in? You know, and you say, hey, man, it's awesome. And you just go to gctnetwork.com and, you know, get all these audio shows and some video. Well, we also have Finding Christ in Cinema t-shirts.
Oh, yes.
Now, that'll be a conversation starter. We also have Theonauts t-shirts. That, too. Conversation starter. They're all available at the GCT Network shop. gctnetwork.com/shop. And so for about the paltry sum of, you know, $21, $22, including shipping and everything, you can have a very nice quality t-shirt to wear while you're out and about and tell people about what you listen to, what you watch. You know, and it also goes to support the network. So just reminding you folks, get over to gctnetwork.com/shop. 3 different designs, all kinds of different colors. One that suits you fine. Anything from you, Lightning Round?
Oh, I have just a quick little story.
Oh, okay.
After all, it is my birthday week, and I will take liberties where I please.
Okay.
Whether Liberty agrees or not, I don't care. I'm taking her.
Well, yeah.
So, once upon a time, there were 3 best friends who wanted to go out hunting in their favorite spot of the woods. But in order to get to that spot, they had to, you know, cross this big grassy field. You know, the grass is about waist high. They had to tromp through the field without really seeing what they're going to step on. And one of them, unfortunately, hits his toe on this anvil. Just out in the middle of the field.
Okay.
You know, nothing doing. And, you know, they all kind of look at each other. Oh, man, what is this anvil doing out in the middle of a grassy field? I don't know. Let's just keep walking. So they keep walking a little bit further, and then, you know, one of them has to hold the other 2 back because they almost fall into this hole in the ground. And it's not that big of a hole. It's about maybe a yard wide, but they can't see the bottom of it. And, you know, of course, curious good old country boys are. They want to see how deep this hole is. So, you know, first they spit in it, you know, and you hear the spit. They don't hear it hit. Then they kick a couple rocks down. You know, surely they'll hear a couple rocks at the bottom of it. They kick them. Nothing.
Wow.
Nothing. One of them gets the idea, hey, let's go back and get that anvil. You know, it's not doing anything in the grassy field. Let's just, and you know, it takes all 3 of them to go back and pick it up. So they pick it up and they all the way to the hole, and they drop it. Nothing. Well, a few seconds go by when they realize that there's a rope tied to the anvil, and it's a rope as long as the horizon. And from the horizon, they start hearing this, and then a little. There was a goat tied to that rope. And the goat's, you know, just coming down the horizon, and then hits the hole. The anvil still hasn't hit the bottom. And the boys, they're just looking at each other. Oh, man, what's going on here? There's a goat tied to an anvil. What's going on? And then they look from the same direction that the goat come, and they hear, Becky! Becky! And it's this old farmer. He gets to the boys and he says, boys, have you seen my goat Becky? And the boys say, well, there was this goat that just ran by. It ran into the hole. And the farmer said, oh, no, that's impossible. She was tied to an anvil.
Here she comes. And where did this come from?
Comes from Jay Leno. He told it in an episode of Jerry Seinfeld's web series "Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee."
Uh-huh.
And I was just watching it the other night, and a couple weeks ago, but I had to share it with with our adoring fans.
And I'm sure that they are very happy that you did.
Yes.
Besides jokes, what can we look forward to here on Finding Christ in Cinema?
Well, next week, we're getting out of the past and getting into the Jurassic World.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah. Don't.
I'm still thinking of your joke.
Don't freak out over there. Well, it was tied to an anvil.
Yeah.
Next, after that, we got Inside Out, Disney Pixar's latest movie. And then we're going to be tackling that special request posted to us by John Wilkerson.
Yes! Of the Wired Homeschool Podcast.
Yes, sir. And then the week after that will be Thanksgiving.
Yes!
/ the opening weekend of the play.
Wonderful.
So we're going to be taking a break. And then after that, of course, December, Christmas movies all month long.
I can't wait for that. Christmas time, and the living is easy. No, that's not.
That's not Porgy and Bess.
Hey, we got a lot lined up and more anvil jokes. No more anvil jokes.
Tied to an anvil.
Okay. Right here at Finding Christ in Cinema, we're live in the GCT Network studio each Thursday, Lord willing, at around 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Join us for live video and especially chat using the chat room and the video player at gctnetwork.com/live. Finding Christ in Cinema is part of the Great Commission Transmission Network, a listener-supported ministry using new media and social networking to proclaim the good news to everyone by helping you to do that. See, I tried to switch it up and it didn't work. I'm going to take a mulligan. Using new media and social networking to equip and encourage you to go into all the world and proclaim the good news to everyone. To find out more and to partner with us, visit us at gctnetwork.com/donate. To witness the firepower of this fully armed and operational ministry, including all 78 episodes of Finding Christ in Cinema, Brendan's Monday movie reviews, Anvil jokes, and links to all of our social media profiles, visit our website at christincinema.com for old-fashioned style The Post. Email us at Finding Christ in Cinema FCC@gctnetwork.com.
You can call us up on the voice line at 507-407-GCTN.
Yes.
And for those without letters on the phones, that's 507-407-4286. Now, let's say it's your birthday.
Yeah.
And you get a special message from patron St. Ron
saying,
hey, I got a good one for Michael.
Yes.
And you want to listen to the podcast.
Yes.
You just go to iTunes, you go to Stitcher, you go to TuneIn Radio, and, well,
You gotta keep regular if you want to be happy.
you can search them all for Finding Christ in Cinema.
Is that it?
That was it.
For all the shows that we produce here at the Great Commission Transmission Network, including our brothers in Texas, the Theonauts! Get over to the official website at gctnetwork.com, especially if you are on potatoes. Anything else?
Well, I was just going to say, Michael, I was having some trouble, this morning. Nothing was moving around. I didn't feel regular.
Great Scott! You gotta keep regular if you want to be happy.
And that is a wrap.
The haircut, do it!
Oh, there he is. I don't know. Whatever.
What a bunch of hippy-dippy...
Sentimental hogwash.
I don't understand.
Inconceivable.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
I thought my jokes were bad.
You know I hate comedians.
I told you he was tricksy.
You gotta keep regular if you want to be happy.
Yay! Gotta keep regular if you want to keep it. I didn't get the joke.
It was tied to an anvil.
I know. They threw the anvil down the hole.
Exactly. That's it.
No, that's not good.
It.
That isn't good.
That is it.
All right. Yeah, whatever. Yes.
Oh, man. All right, type this and I gotta go.
Okay, type that. Okay, you type that.